Here's my next little project. You can see the inside of the wheel here is kind of lined up with the inside of the back drum. And here you can see that this one is kind of towed out. And I have adjustment left on this tie rod end. This one's all the way in, so I need to shorten this up about 3/8 of an inch. So I'm just gonna, I thought about taking it off and re-threading it, but I think what I'm going to do is just cut that bar right there. I don't know if it's rethreading will be quicker or better, but I should be able just to cut that, weld it back straight, and then press on and get the toe head set right so I can make sure all my steering is straight. Now the way I did this, I cut 2 places in it, so I'm not having to try to cut one piece all the way through when it's already been chopped off. And I'll try to work this around, and with it cut like that, me holding it up against this oil filter here, I'm getting a fairly parallel cut, so it shouldn't be that hard to weld back together. Now here's a little tip. If you're going to weld something together, like 2 pieces around, you put it in a piece of channel iron, clamp it both ways, and that'll pretty much give you a straight shot, depending on how good you clamp it and stuff. But this is probably plenty good enough for a tie rod end. It's in there, and I got plenty of room to weld it there. So I'll make a pass, turn it over, clamp it the other way, and make another pass, and then I can just go all the way around it. Well, there it is, welded all the way around. It's looks pretty good. I got it all built up bigger than the shaft. So now I'm just going to take my little spatter grinder and just clean this up here a little bit. It looks like it's real straight and should be plenty strong. Hopefully I guessed on how much I needed to take out of it correctly. There it is, all ground off, and I squirted some paint on it. I'm going to turn this thing in to about, so I don't have any more adjustment, and then we'll try to get it straight and set the toe in, and then I can center up this wheel, center up the steering wheel, and I can weld this. You can't really see it, but it's that U-joint down in there. So jack this up and try to get it straight, see what happens. Well, that's pretty much a done deal on the front end. I got this tire lining up with right about the center of the drum in the back, and this one looks like it's almost the center of the drum, and the wheel is straight. I checked it lock to lock, and it's going all the way to the left, hitting the stop, and it's maybe a 32nd of an inch from hitting it over here. So I've got the thing centered, I'm at the end of my adjustment here. If I have to do something, I can either just pull that tie rod out and thread it a little bit. I'm not going to wind up cutting it. I still probably have a little bit of adjustment left on this one. I don't know how much in there is threaded, but that's the end of the steering. We've got this all tightened up, and there's no slack in it. Got this freeze plug up in there leaking, you can see. I'm going to drain the water out of it. I'm cleaning my drain pan right now, getting that old nasty oil out. I'll drain some water, and I'm just going to knock that thing out and put my rubber plug here. Put that in there. That'll fix that. All my wires are good here. Brake lines are out of the way of everything. I've got to knock in some brake clips here. But everything's all good. And no play at all here. I can just barely move it. That's probably maybe ½ an inch, and I can see the tire move. So this is all real tight steering. Should be real good, and it's fairly easy to turn. So that's the end of that. A little more wiring for the tack. I'm going to cut up that case. I finally mounted this with a good piece of wood, and that's where it's going to stay. I got my neutral switch. I got it where it'll start and park in neutral, and just because of the way the shifter's made, it'll also start in a second. But it's good enough now. Park in neutral, it'll start in, and the rest of them are pretty much all blocked out. So that's as good as I'm going to get with the setup I got there. I probably ought to do something with this horn button. It wasn't really designed for this style of wheel, so it's kind of low. Maybe I'll put something in to raise it up a little, or just leave it alone. Anyway, this all done. I get that freeze plug fixed, and then I'm going to drain the oil. I was looking at the oil that was coming out. It's just black, just filthy black. So run another 5 quarts through there. I'm not going to change the filter, I'll just drain yet. Hopefully that'll clean it up a little better. That Rizalone probably helped get a lot of the stuff out of there. So once I'll go get some gas and get my freeze plug in, might as well make sure it's not leaking and everything. I'll run it up to operating temperature and dump this oil out of it. Well, this is going to be a challenge. Of course, that's rusted in there, and it looks like it was a steel freeze plug. I got this. No, I guess I ought to unhook my battery. But I got a hole knocked out in here. Get quite a bit of rust out of it, which is good. I really should unhook that battery. Probably just hold back into the motor plugged up with rust. Anyway, what I got to do is split this freeze plug here somewhere. I can try to pound it in here in the middle, which will kind of shrink it. And then I'm going to have to go in with a chisel and cut it a little bit. I may if I can get it opened up enough there, maybe I can reach in there with a sawzall and get that cut. Oh, it looks like my bucket's already full. I'll bring it back when a little more is okay. Alright, I was able to get up in there with a sawzall. Yeah, trying to show you this, but I don't know if you can see there, but the plug itself is wiggling. So it'll be a fairly easy matter to finish getting that thing out of there now. Yeah, there it is out. And I got plenty of crud to dig out of here. Boy, so much stuff in here that I'm never going to get this all out with the radiator cleaner. It's just terrible. I must have got at least a cup of this shit out of here. I don't know if I cut into my block here or not. Maybe just a little bit, but that rubber plug should seal that. Yeah. Guess I'll try to hook up some water into the heater hose on the other side, see what I can flush out of here. Nasty. Yeah, I'm using a water stream to kind of clean this out. That seems to be getting most of it out of right here. And then I'm going to go to the other side and see if I can't put some into it right here. Running a bunch in there. Let's see what it's doing over here. It's just running clean water out. So it looks like it got most of the rust out of this side. I'll try to squirt that jet up in there a few more directions and see what I can flush out of it. I need to replace the other freeze plug in the front. Probably be a good idea to do the same thing to the other side. Well, looks like I did cut a couple notches in my block right there. I don't know if this rubber thing will seal them or not. Probably should.
Oh, you stretch it from here?
Well, here's the freeze plug deal. You're not supposed to put any sealer or anything on these. This is 1 7/8, goes up to 2 1/4, and it looks like it fits in there really good. So I'll just hold that in with a screwdriver or something and then tighten that. And the way it works, it's got a piece of metal inside it, and it squishes it and expands the diameter of this. Yeah, so I almost got one too small, but it's going in there good. And if anything's going to stop it from leaking, this will. Of course, I could have put a new freeze plug in it, but I was kind of hoping that these would fit into the old freeze plug and not squish out. So anyway, get myself a pry bar and a ratchet and tighten that one up. Yeah, there it is in. Got it flush all the way around. And pretty much looks like it might be sticking out a little on the bottom. But I got about maybe 15 pounds torque on it, something like that. Let's clean this up a little now so I can see if it's going to leak anymore. And judging from the amount of rust I got out of here, I ought to do it to the other side. Sure wouldn't hurt nothing. And I do have another one of these rubber freeze plugs. So that's it on how you put in a rubber freeze plug. I'm going to move on here to cutting my windshield. Use the impact driver to get the ends off of this. And it looks like it's just have to cut one piece off of the end here, and then cut this down the middle. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do it with a little jigsaw. I guess the first thing is just try to cut this the end off and see if I chew it up or crack it or what. This is lexan. It's pretty tough. It's 1/4 inch thick, so maybe a jigsaw will work. I'll find out in a minute. Well, here's my window. Cut it with a jigsaw. Worked real good. And I just put it in the frame here with some silicone. And got these back on good. And I just got it into here where it's straight. I'm going to see a little movement in it. I didn't have enough silicone to get the back, but that's holding it pretty straight. And it's real clear. Got some reflection here, but on this side, real clean and no blur or anything. And because of this angle, it's not got a lot of reflection from the back. So I have to re-silicone the back of it, but it's in there now and hanging with no pressure, so hopefully it'll be as straight as possible. And tomorrow I'll cut the other one. I've still got this aluminum channel in here, so it'll fit a lot tighter. You can see that it's It's going in there pretty snug. I just have to cut this groove here and put this one in, and we should be good to go. As far as the window, I'll have a little tiny 1/4 inch gap here in it. I don't know how much that's going to affect it. If it does, I just put a piece of clear tape across there. It's kind of in the middle of the window, and you're looking through this area right in here, so it shouldn't bother you too much. I got this finally bolted into the floor good. I can see it flexing a little here in the dash. It probably could use another bolt here and another one right here. Just bolt this 1 inch square piece in here a little tighter, particularly one right here. But I can see it flexing the frame just a little bit. Basically good enough. So another day, kind of getting that all tightened up. Got that water leak stopped, all the front end done, steering fixed, tie rod cut, and half of a window. Another day I'll finish up the window and probably most everything else. Get the oil changed and press on.